And we're looking at each other, I take it.
Yeah, we'll look at each other. I'm just doing the intro
Okay.
to the camera, and then I will be looking at you.
Okay.
Yes.
When you're ready,
Are you going to count me in, or just I can begin?
you can begin.
Welcome to the LA Home Show on Focus TV, where we discuss all things real estate, interior design, and much, much more. I am Natasha, your host, and today we are with Billy Rose from the agency. Actually, Billy was in the inaugural issue of LA Home magazine, and we are excited to continue our journey with him.
All right, stand by. We're going to take that again one more time. All right, yeah, we're going to open the magazine to the center shot. That's good. Let's do it again. Bring it down.
Okay.
Here we go. Stand by to re-rack that.
Wait. Let's see if I can get it the same this time. Okay.
All right, just resetting this. Go ahead when you're ready.
Welcome to the LA Home Show on Focus TV, where we discuss all things real estate, interior design, and much, much more. I am your host, Natasha, and today we are with Billy Rose from the agency, who was actually in the inaugural issue of the magazine, and we are excited to continue the journey with him. Welcome, Billy.
Thanks.
So wonderful to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Our audience would love to hear more about you and how you got into the industry.
I got in a very circuitous way, actually. If you were to look back and say, follow this path and you can be a successful real estate agent, owner of a brokerage, this would be the path you want to take, you'd say, there's no way I'm doing that. It makes no sense at all. You know, I grew up here. I started as a nightclub promoter, a DJ, where I actually grew to appreciate environments and how they affect people. I was always really interested in music, particularly, but also in the entertainment business. I became an entertainment lawyer and sort of learned my skills of contracts and negotiation. I became a talent agent at UTA, mainly because I wasn't with the right partners at my law firm and was looking to start a new one, and along the way got recruited to become a talent agent. Hated that job. But I had a girlfriend at the time who had just graduated from design school. I had remodeled a house largely on my own, doing the tile work and the electrical and the plumbing, and kind of got into the whole home ownership and understanding of how a house works. And we then did the interiors for this home together, during which process and along with her, I gained a real desire, appreciation, thirst for design and architecture. She's actually since gone on to become an internationally acclaimed, gargantuan, major interior designer, and has her own boutiques and stuff now, and she's amazing. I had sold that house, it got published, made a little bit of money, had bought another house. At this point we were broken up. I went on and did that house on my own, and I sold it on Caravan on the first day, and made what seemed like an unfathomable amount of money at that time, and decided I hate being a talent agent. I'm going to become a designer developer, following the footsteps of my old girlfriend. And I just started doing that, and I really became sort of a student of the market. I really wanted to see everything out there. One, because I was looking for deals, I was looking for things to buy and to develop. But also I wanted to learn, you know, market values. I wanted to get inspired by design and architecture. I was looking to see, you know, how people were presenting their homes, both at open houses and on Caravan, how the reception was from agents and buyers as to certain types of properties. And I really became sort of a student of the market. I would see something like 40, 50 homes a week. I mean, I think I still now co-own the record for the most homes on Caravan. I saw 23 one day.
That's a lot.
One of our agents, Ben Bellick, actually did a little video piece where he took on my record. He had a driver, I did not. And he tied it. He was gracious in allowing the tie to stay. And because I had seen so much, because I was really aware of everything, now I was being invited in by other agents to help them price their homes. So I was seeing, you know, a million different things on Caravan, a million different things on Open House, and now I'm seeing a bunch of things before they're coming on the market. So I really kind of had my finger on the pulse, and it was along that period during which I was being approached by people I had met in the industry, primarily, to represent them in their pursuit of a home. And it just kind of grew. You know, I had brought a multidisciplinary approach to being an agent, you know, through, you know, my experience as a lawyer, my experience as a talent agent, now my experience as a designer developer, and those three different distinct skill sets, I think, really set me up to be successful in my day-to-day.
I'm sure it sounds like it. It sounds like you have total immersion in whatever you're doing. The agency today is like really a pioneer in the industry, and it's kind of turning the industry on its head. And why do you think you've taken that approach?
Well, you know, when Mauricio approached me and said, you know, I want to start a company together, I had always felt that there was a problem with the brokerage industry. I felt that it had been broken. I mean, you know, I had come from integrated organizations at law firms and at talent agencies where, you know, these organizations really worked as a team, you know, as one group. And I looked around the real estate industry and felt like this is broken, because we've got these umbrella brands, whether they're Sotheby's, Coldwell Banker, Remax, and down, and we're encouraging agents to act as separate entities. So, you know, I started at a state agency, I moved to Mossad Doe, and then it went to Prudential, and my brand was Rose & Chang. I had been partnered with Blair Chang, and nobody knew that we'd ever left. You know, they thought we were a brokerage. And, you know, our association with WEA, Mossad Doe firms from prestigious talent agencies, where that brand mattered, where it was a credit enhancement to, you know, you're gaining a client or you're being able to successfully service a client. To me, it seemed anachronistic to encourage agents to now go be their own thing, and they're no longer sharing their resources with the rest in their group so that they can have competitive advantage. It's always a team is going to beat an individual. And you know, and I've got a team of now, you know, we're 300 plus agents. You know, you might be a large team, you might be 20 people, but still, when you have, you know, 300 plus people who are all working together, who are all swimming in the same direction, sharing information, sharing databases, sharing relationships, spheres of network, you're going to be able to really have a competitive advantage.
Yeah, and do you handpick your agents to feel that they're going to fit with your team?
It's crucial. I mean, we have, you know, you can't create a culture. You can't, you know, decide the culture is going to be something. You have to cultivate it. And, you know, we're a petri dish. And the culture is an ever-evolving thing. When we started, you know, it was a hand-picked, you know, 10 people, you know, largely really my group and Mauricio's group. And then we, you know, were very selective in who we thought would embody the, you know, the qualities that we felt were necessary and worked well together. You know, integrity, innovation, professionalism, and you know, when you bring someone into that sandbox, they're going to affect the culture. They're either going to enhance it, be neutral, or going to be a negative impact. So we try to involve as many people within the organization as possible when we're determining whether to select someone to join the agency, because when you operate as one unified team, everyone is a reflection on each other.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you bring on someone who is an embarrassment to you or who is not going to reflect well on the organization, then people will care. And so we want to make sure that everyone feels good in the same way that sort of a country club is. You know, you want to know that when you see somebody down the hall, you're excited to see them, you want to give them a hug, you want to give them a high five and say hi, rather than you're going to roll your eyes and you're going to go walk the other way. You know, in the same way that we are each a reflection on one another, you know, it's kind of like that F. Kennedy adage of the rising tide raises all boats. you know, when Mauricio sells the Playboy Mansion, we all own that. You know, we sold that. You know, you can't. That doesn't occur at any company because it's everybody's judged by their own thing. You know, yeah. Well, Mauricio sold that, or
Yeah.
you know, that wasn't mine, but you know, I sold this. You know, we all own what we all do, and in the converse, when someone's not operating at the highest level of professionalism or with integrity, that negatively impacts us. So one of the unexpected attendant consequences of our culture has been that we all work with one another to try to raise each other up. You know, so if somebody sees somebody doing something and not in a best practice, you know, I see people, you know, trying to help each other, conducting lunch and learns. There are meetings and training sessions that, you know, corporate, you know, the leadership doesn't have any, you know, often knowledge of, and they just go on, and it's so rewarding and satisfying to me as an owner to see that everyone is taking ownership in what it is, and it's not just, yeah, I'm not an owner, so I don't really care. But like everybody cares about this in the same way that, you know, if you're a Laker or you're a Yankee, you know, that's my team. I want the best out of it.
That's great, and it looks like you're really succeeding with it. So what is the most interesting property that you've sold? You were speaking about the Playboy Mansion, but I'd like to know your property.
Well, one of the most interesting sales and relationships I've had, I represented a guy who owned the Ozzie and Harriet Nelson estate. And, you know, we had been looking for quite some time for him to find something. And we had made an offer on a property, and he really loved the Ozzie and Harriet Nelson estate. Is, you know, it's a early 1900s house in Hollywood. And he liked those sort of nooks and crannies and little spaces, and he was deciding what he should be making a higher counter. We'd been countered on his offer, and so he said, you know, can we go see more homes? And literally it occurred like on a Sunday morning. I said, look, I'm seeing 12 homes today on open house. You're welcome to join me. I don't know if there's going to be anything there now that I see what my list is to which you're going to gravitate, but you'll see some good versions of different things that, you know, a contemporary home, you know, a Spanish home, you know, whatever. And so he came with me, and we were enjoying a beautiful day with the top down. And we walked into this brand new spec contemporary home, which was not at all anything like what he wanted to buy. And he walked in and he goes, this is my home. And papered it up later that night. And on the way back, driving him to his home, he said, you know, I've got to sell my house now. And I said, I think I know actually who your buyer is. I called a friend of mine, a client of mine. I said, I think I may have your house. It's, you know, client just found something he wants to buy. And he came over later that night, and he said, yes, this is my house. I mean, you know, like you can't make this up any better. It's like, you know, the greatest thing.
5 hours, you've done 2 deals.
3 sides. And but what we learned through the process of buying that house is that, so my friend's wife, who was purchasing the home, was concerned that there might be some poltergeist situations that might not be comfortable. So we did an inspection for ghosts.
Oh my goodness.
And I have to say,
probably never done that.
That first time was hilarious because I remember vividly, you know, this couple pulls up, and, you know, they're probably mid-20s in their VW van, and they walk into the house and they kind of feel around, and the guy says, oh yeah, do you feel it? He's here. And she says, oh yeah, and he's happy. And, you know, so it went well. It's, you know, we moved forward with the purchase, but I think in my mind, I often have these mind-eye visions of, you know, what transpired. And I think what transpired as they pulled up to the house in their VW van was, okay, so how's this going to go down? I'm going to walk in. and I'm going to say he's here. She says, and I'm going to say he's happy. I'm convinced it was something like.
Did you get the same couple to do the inspection all 3 times?
No, we had some other woman who came by one other time who, you know, is someone who channels energy, and everybody did feel that there was some energy there, and people who have lived there have sworn that there was something there, and I felt actually, you know, the lawyer in me, that we had to disclose it each time. I had never encountered any ghost, and nobody could prove that there was ever any ghost, but I always felt that, you know, like we have those all material facts, and I always felt that it could be a problem if this legend became sort of well known and somebody refused to work on the house because they were afraid of ghosts.
Well, that is very interesting, and I'm sure no other documentation has had like ghost inspection.
Yeah, that's the only house in which I've ever had that. But you know, so we hopefully we're learning each day, and there's something new each time.
So with that, like, how have you felt the industry's changed? Like, has technology improved the industry?
I think that it has made things more accessible. I think back to when, you know, I started 17 years ago. And you know, certainly you weren't using the internet in connection with the real estate industry at all. You know, we had these books, you know, newspaper kind of bound books that listed what was open on Caravan, and you know, it was very antiquated by today's standards. You know, and then we got into, you know, the whole MLS internet, and you're being able to email off, you know, new opens, new listings, reductions, do comps much more easily, and then of course there's been the distribution to Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com and all the thousands of them now. And what that's done is it really has made it's made consumers, buyers in particular, more aware of what's going on in the market. And you know, so it's not uncommon for a buyer to get an alert of a new property that just hit the MLS, and it gets feed over to Zillow, and you know, 10 minutes later you get a call. Hey, what about that house on Sunset Plaza? How is it? And you know, and we as agents, you know, we've got a lot of balls in the air, and you know, we try to be on top of everything as quickly as possible. But you know, when you're a buyer, in particular, and you get that alert, it's very important. It's paramount in your life, and so you're on it. And so when they call you and they go, "Have you seen it?" and you're like, "I don't even know about it yet." I think that we have to, as agents, we have to be mindful of that speediness, that expediency of knowledge to the consumer, and we have to figure out what our role is in that process. You know, it's not enough now to say this house is for sale. They already know that. They know how much it is. They know what square footage is. Where we, I think, have to bring value is through our experience and guidance on knowing, you know, is it the right house? Is it the right place? You know, is it on the right side of the street? You know, we need to be able to give them guidance on our awareness, our experience. You know, I've been looking with, you know, one of my career clients. I think we've been looking for houses for something like 7 years, and he's a guy who really is very methodical, very meticulous, overthinks everything. And we'd been back to his house 3 times, and he wanted to buy it. He didn't want to buy it. Should he make an offer? Is it too much? You know. And I finally said to him, you know, I feel like it's my job to tell you when you should and when you shouldn't act. And I've never said this to you in 7 years. This is your house. I think we don't move forward on this house, we're going to look back as this is the one that got away. And he did go ahead and write the offer, and we did go ahead and close on the house. And about, I don't know, a month ago, he calls. I just want to say thank you so much for having the courage of conviction to say to me, this is your house. Because if you had not done that, I don't think I would have bought it. And this is absolutely my house. I'm going to be buried here. So, you know, I think we have to come with a perspective. We have to have courage of conviction. We need to be more than just somebody who's writing an offer, though there's an important part of that as well. And I feel that, unfortunately, we're not too often really servicing a buyer or a seller in what is often the most, the most significant financial transaction they'll undertake in their lifetime. And we have too many agents who are part-timers. When I was in the entertainment industry, we used to talk about, model, actress, whatevers. And I feel like we've moved now into a world of model, yoga instructor, realtors. And, these are people who, and whether, and I don't, I say that somewhat pejoratively, and I don't mean it really that way. Our ranks are too full of people who are doing it on a part-time basis. This is not a part-time job, and this is not something that is, slightly impactful on someone's life. I mean, it's not like they go to a yoga class and, they might hurt themselves a little bit or a lot. This is something that's going to impact somebody substantially in their life and probably in a significant financial way. And the fact that people don't understand the contract, that they don't really understand how to guide their client through this process, to me is, an abomination on our industry. And it's not surprising as a result that, we often get, analogized to used car salesmen, because there's too many people in it. It's too easy to get a real estate license and to go out there and sell someone a starter home of $4 million and, live a not terrible life for that year. So to me, it's really incumbent on us as, brokerage owners and as agents to, really help those within our ranks to be able to perform at the highest of levels.
Yeah, and so as our final question, I wanted to ask you, what are you most excited about today, whether it's a listing or something else?
Gosh, there's so many things that I'm excited about. I mean, I'll if I can do it in 2 parts.
Yes, of course.
I'll start with the one that excites me most, which is really, the growth of the agency. We've opened 10 offices last year. We should be opening another 10 this year. We're in talks with some incredible people to help expand, our mission as really making sure that we're the top of class, leaders in making sure that people are getting the best of representation. What I love about it is, being able to inspire, motivate, guide, teach agents to help them raise up to a new level and to become leaders. I just recently took on a new listing that's super exciting to me, which is San Sereno, which is it's this incredible architectural property. It's done by Richard Meyer Partners. Michael Palladino was the leading architect on it. And it's an unusual property. It's in Santa Ynez. It's 116 acres. It's an equestrian property with, an 8-stall barn, tack room, hay, horse manager's estate. It's got riding trails. But the home itself is this incredible piece of art. It's this, architectural statement. Richard Meyer, who did the Getty Center as well as numerous museums and other important institutions around the world, created this home, which is, one of a kind in this region, because they tend to be, these more expected, barns or, these kind of Mediterranean, manses. And this is a very livable, very light-filled home on incredible property, and I'm excited to be able to represent it.
It sounds fantastic and awesome, and I wish you best of luck with it.
Thank you.
Well, Billy, thank you so much for joining us today, and we're great to have everyone watching us, and keep tuned for next week, where we'll be back with LA Home on Focus TV, and where we discuss all things real estate and much, much more.